Mrs. Roberts here, and my trusty sidekick,
Miss Seidel.
Thank you. Today we are going to be focusing on item ID 3272. So in this question it says click the table to indicate whether each equation has no real solution, one real solution, or infinitely many real solutions. So I'm looking through this question and the first thing I think is, oh my goodness, what does one real solution, no real solution, and infinitely many real solutions, mean? What does this mean? Can you help me? I don't know where to start.
Well, so I think it means that one real solution means that you can actually solve it and get an answer that would make it true. Infinitely many real solutions means that it's always true no matter what you plug in for x. And no real solutions means there is absolutely nothing you can find for x that you can plug in and make it true.
So how do I start this question?
Well, I would start by narrowing some stuff down. If you know how to solve them, then we could start there. Otherwise, we can start looking at what we know about our positives and our negatives, our rules with fractions, and our equations.
Okay, so I guess let's start with the first one.
Okay.
So I have two fractions.
Mm-hmm.
I hate fractions.
I know.
Is there any way I can make them not fractions?
Well, sure. Right? We have a couple of different ways to do that. Right now, we know that 5 is being divided by 20x, and 1 is being divided by 4x. So the opposite of division is multiplication. So we can certainly get rid of our division with multiplication.
So are you saying that I could multiply this by 20x?
As long as you do it to both sides.
Oh, okay, so if I do it here, and now this will cancel out.
Yes.
So right now what I have is 5 equals 20x over 4x.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I want to get rid of this fraction too, so could I multiply this by 4x?
You certainly could, as long as you do it to both sides.
So this will cancel out.
Yes.
So I would have 20x equals 20x.
Yeah.
So do I subtract 20x now?
You certainly could, but we can also just look at it here and say, okay, well, if 20x equals 20x, if I plug the same thing in for x on both sides, does it matter what I plug in?
I guess not.
No.
What does that tell me?
So if it's the same on both sides and any x you can plug in will be true, then that means that it's infinitely many real solutions because you can plug in any x you want and it'll still work.
Oh. Well, that's kind of cool. Okay. So the second one I have 3x equals 4 plus 5x.
Mm-hmm.
They're not the same on both sides, so it's not going to be infinitely many, right?
Well, we don't know that yet. We have to simplify some stuff down to check to see if we can get it to be the same.
Okay, so what should I do?
Well, anytime you're solving an equation, the goal is to get all of the variables together on one side and the numbers on the other side. So right now we have 3x on one side and 5x on the other, so we want to either move the 3x to be with the 5x or move the 5x to be with the 3x.
So if I want to move this 5x, I would subtract it?
Yeah, because right now it's positive, it's a plus 5x, and to undo that you subtract.
So I have negative 2x equals 4.
Yeah. Okay, so now our x's are all by themselves and our numbers are all by themselves, but we have negative 2 x's and we want just 1.
So do I add 2?
Well, the question you have to ask is what operation is happening between the negative 2 and the x? So they're right next to each other.
Oh, they're multiplying, so I would divide.
Yes.
And so I get x equals negative 2.
Mm-hmm.
And that's only one solution.
Yeah, because x can only be negative 2.
last one looks really weird.
That last one is really weird.
Okay. Well, what should we do?
Well, I think we need to take into consideration what we know about square roots and our problem here. So a square root, in this case, we're talking about just the positive square root because it doesn't tell us out front if it's a positive or negative, which means whatever this ends up being, it has to be positive because you can't take the square root of a negative number and it's not a negative square root to begin with. So if we have a positive number plus another positive number, can we ever get it to be 0?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Two positives added together will always be positive. So it's
So
just
it's
no real.
Okay. Thank you for helping me out.